Choosing a bottled Starbucks Frappuccino drink that's all flavor and just 100 calories? Easy. Choosing between creamy vanilla, double chocolate, and sea salt caramel flavors? A little harder. Try the delicious new Starbucks Frappuccino light drinks. Look for them wherever you buy groceries. Start with Starbucks coffee.
At Blinds.com, it's not just about window treatments. It's about you, your style, your space, your way. Whether you DIY or want the pros to handle it all, you'll have the confidence of knowing it's done right. From free expert design help to our 100% satisfaction guarantee, everything we do is made to fit your life and your windows. Because at Blinds.com, the only thing we treat better than windows is you.
Shop Blinds.com Labor Day Mega Sale happening now. Save up to 50% site-wide plus a free measure. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Save big during Labor Day at Lowe's. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, buy more to get up to an additional 20% off. Shop even more savings with 3 Stay Green 1 cubic foot vegetable and flower garden soil bags for $10. This Labor Day, take care of your home for less at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 9/3. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location. Select locations only. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
I'm Garry Birtles, one of the old gits from a long time ago. You've got to tune into Tricky Talks, I believe, so just do it. All the best.
Robertson, the first time we've seen them attack them, and there's Francis! Well, that's what I've wanted to see Robertson do. And still Robertson, getting his shot in, and a goal! Robertson!
Welcome to the Tricky Talks podcast. Coming up on the show this week, we'll discuss the latest transfers, the Europa League draw, we'll have our usual trivia and FPL update, and of course we have to discuss Forest being hammered by West Ham. More of that shortly, but the whole gang is here this week. Molo's shaking his head. Molo, how are you doing, sir?
Yeah, came back early, flew back early to watch that game from holiday. Wasn't great, was it?
No, I didn't know whether you were shaking your head at my dad joke or whether you were shaking your head at the performance. Yeah, Chelsea, you're here as well. Welcome back.
Hello, good to be back, people. I know everyone missed me, so.
And Kate is joining us as well. How are you, Kate? You sat and saw the game in A block this time, I believe. How was that experience? The result aside.
Yeah, I did. I think I'm just going to go back to my seat next time because apparently when I sit in A block, we're not very good.
I never saw you sit once.
No, I did the last 10 minutes with my head in my hand.
Right, we'll crack on with the show then because we've got tons to get through this week and we're going to start off with the transfer activity. We are recording this on transfer deadline day, so there is a huge amount of activity going on. We'll go through what we know to date, including some signings that have already been made prior to today. So let's start there. So we've had a few incomings. So we've had Nicolo Savona, a right back, joined us from Juventus. John Victor from Botafogo, the goalkeeper. They're the two confirmation signings. We've had Callum Hudson-Odoi sign a new deal, which is great. And we have had almost here we go in terms of how do you pronounce his surname? Cuabano from Botafogo. The left back has been seen having his medical at the academy training ground. And we have signed Donnell McNeely from Chelsea, who's a 19-year-old centre forward, and he's immediately been on loan to Wycombe Wanderers for the season. So plenty of activity going on, chaps. Let's start there before we cover the outs. Kate, we'll start with you this time. Loads of players either in or rumoured to be in. Take your pick. Who do you want to talk about first?
So I will go with Savona because I think we've spoken on here before about wanting a fullback. We have a fullback. Don't know loads about him yet. Tall, Italian, 22, says the word Garibaldi in a very, very nice way. So okay, that's a good thing. And after, here we go. Here we go. After Sunday, we definitely need a fullback, don't we? We definitely need some options. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, welcome.
Now, John Victor is the goalkeeper that's come from Botafogo. Looks very much like Carlos Miguel. So I hope we haven't signed another version of him, but he comes with a little bit more experience and maybe will push Matt Sells a little bit more than Miguel did. Molo, what do you think of that signing? I don't know too much about him personally, but competition for places must be a good thing, right?
Definitely, if he is competition. But I think you've got to go some to be competition for Matt Sells at the moment. It's more likely just numbers, isn't it? Because we've got Angus Gunn and we've got Matt Sells. And in all the games we've got, it doesn't take much to lose one or two goalkeepers to injury. So, yeah, it's a numbers thing for me rather than... I'm not convinced he'll be competition for Matt Sells. But let's hope he's a very, very good keeper and puts a little bit of pressure on. But one thing we do know is Matt Sells, he's not let us down yet, has he, to be fair?
No, he hasn't. Somebody else who's definitely not let us down is Callum Hudson-Odoi, Chelsea. And what was your reaction when you saw him signing that new deal? Because it's almost like he was almost like that very last one of the first 11 whose contract was nearing an end, and we needed to get him penned on a new deal, didn't we? And it's finally happened. What were your thoughts when you heard the news?
I mean, they on the Instagram they just gave a little hint, didn't they, of the American Boy song, didn't they? And I thought, come on. And it was all that one that we were waiting for. We'd had such great signs from Gibbs White, to obviously Ola Aina and everybody, and it was just that last piece of the puzzle that we just had to fit in, especially after Elanga going, and we know how much of an impact he had. There was always a worry that because I mean, Callum Hudson-Odoi is such a good player, and that he would have been available in a shop window. So it was great to have him back and, have him signed a new contract. And yeah, I'm absolutely chuffed to pieces.
Excellent. With regards to the other two, one with the names that I've mentioned, two are left backs, one's another winger. Anyone want to have a think about or have any thoughts about? Yeah, we needed some new signings. We needed some fullbacks. Is it too much? Are we over signing players? Because it's a huge number of players to keep happy. Clearly, some are going to play more than others. They're not necessarily all going to play the same amount of games. Where do you guys stand on that? It's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, isn't it? They're filling some spaces in the squad and they're filling round holes with round pegs. But is there a risk they're going to get overloaded, Mollo?
My main concern is that we stay within PSR constraints, because our business had been good up to this point and what we need, and we'd sold as well, rightly or wrongly. Seeing Danilo could have been any worse on Sunday, but that's another story, having scored himself. It's more for me, are we signing too many in terms of the PSR situation, unless there's going to be somebody going out the door? But equally, you're right. Keeping that many players happy is not going to be easy. I think we brought on the 3 wingers in effect, didn't we, by playing McAtee on the wing. We had 2 others come on in the Ipswich guy and Calamundo, and now we've signed another. I'm thinking, are we overloaded in that position? Time will tell.
Yeah. I fear as well.
So go on, Chelsea, go on.
No, I fear as well. I mean, I know we need a bigger squad for Europe, and I think that was all one of our fears at the start of the season, that we weren't going to have that. But then equally on the flip side, Nuno preferring a smaller squad, is that then going to cause issues there? So it's trying to find that happy balance, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you mentioned PSR. It's a good shout, and whilst it won't impact us directly this year because we've sold a lot in terms of bringing income in, so that would offset a lot of the spend that we're laying out. But as PSR rules are based on a 3-year average, you have to think they could probably cope for the next couple of seasons. But inevitably, I think that would probably mean there is going to have to be a major sale to offset a lot of that spend in future years. Obviously, that can be anyone at this stage, but maybe that's the business model they're happy to adopt. Buy young, develop, sell high. So remains to be seen who that is. But I don't know whether you guys are aware, in Europe there are a different set of PSR rules which are much tighter. So it would be interesting to see how they fit that criteria more so than the Premier League PSR rules. But that's one to watch for the future. There have been some outgoings. Eric Moreira has joined Rio Ave on loan for the season. There are rumours that the likes of Omar Richards, Jota Silva, Josh Bowler, and even Awonyi are rumoured to be leaving prior to the end of the transfer window. But so clearly there's no room for those guys in the squad. They're going to be in limbo. It's in their interests to leave, isn't it, Kate?
Yeah, I think so. And I think following on from what we've just discussed, squad depth is important, and we have spoken a lot about that, but only if they're good, and we need to look at what the quality is that's coming in. We don't want to be over-signing and then having too many players on the bench, players not even in the squad. So I do think there need to be some outgoings. I'd be a little bit sad to see Awumni go, but equally I can't see him getting in the team at the moment. So we watch with interest in the next couple of hours.
Yeah, indeed. Moving on then, some magnificent news earlier in the week, of course, was hearing that Elliot Anderson had been selected for the full England squad, which we had all hoped he would be. Chelsea, brilliant news, for thoroughly deserved.
That's the thing, it is thoroughly deserved. I mean, I've heard so many Forest fans speak about Elliot Anderson and that he should be in the squad, but it's not just Forest fans that I've been hearing from. It's just any type of fan saying that as soon as they watch Elliot Anderson, they've heard rumours about him, so then they watch him on Match of the Day or even like on a Forest game, and they see how fantastic he plays, wishing that they were in their team as well. And it is just rightly deserved, and so he should be. I mean, we all know the likes of people who are in the England squad, and me being biased, maybe I think Elliot Anderson goes above quite a few of them, to be honest. So rightly deserved, and he's over the moon, you can tell.
Yeah, what about him and Morgan Gibbs-White starting for England in that central midfield? I don't remember the last time we had two England internationals starting a game. Molo, that was probably back in the days of Neil Webb and Steve Stone and Stuart Pearce, wouldn't it? That going back that far, I think. Yeah,
I think it was 1996, I believe. Steve Stone and Stuart Pearce. You're right. I mean, obviously we're lucky enough, as many people listening to this will be, to remember the days when 4 Forest players started a game. However, in those days it should have been 7 or 8, if we're being fair. But being biased, 1996 it was. So.
Well, let's get on to West Ham then, and we'll start with you, Kate. We have to talk about the game. We each go through a couple of takeaways, which is normally really easy to do on the back of a win. First loss this season. Give us a couple of takeaways from the game, Kate.
So I think when I did my analysis after the game, I titled my match report, "Complacency will always catch you out." And I don't know that there's another word for it. We spoke about it pre-match. What's the thing that could make us lose this game? We mentioned complacency, and then we saw some complacency. Well, we saw a lot of complacency and arrogance, I think, as well, a little bit. We fans as well as players, what's your score predictions? 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. Nobody ever expected it to be 3-0 loss. You know what? Even after the first half, I don't think we still expected it to be a 3-0 loss. And yet we did nothing to earn the 3 points, in my opinion. We were complacent. I mean, you could reel off the entire squad and say that they had a bad day. Some were worse than others, for sure. But that's a bit of a sad state of affairs, isn't it? Trying to pick out who was less bad. Complacency has got to be there. And then, dare I say it, when Morgan Gibbs-White is bad, we are bad. And that is something that needs addressing.
That 3-0 result was our heaviest home defeat in the top flight since an 8-1 trouncing by Manchester United on that famous win when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came off the bench and scored 4. So I saw that stat earlier today and couldn't believe it, that it's been so long and it was our worst defeat. So we'll hope they learn from it. Anything else to add, Kate, before we move on to the others?
There's lots of things I could say, but I'm going to let somebody else talk.
Yeah, go on then, Mollo. You were there, sat next to Kate. What were your takeaways from the game?
Well, as a thorough professional I am, I've sat from about 3:05 today watching the game back on TV. And what I will say is the first 80 minutes weren't quite as bad as they seemed at the time, but the last 10 minutes were equally as bad, if not worse than they seemed. That said, my 2 takeaways are really lack of ability to break down a defence if Gibbs White doesn't produce a bit of magic. He wasn't at his best, we know that. A lot of his play was fine, but when we really needed that bit of magic, it wasn't there. And secondly, my big takeaway, and I've read a lot of garbage on social media in the last 24 hours, even people there are idiots out there not just saying Nuno might go because of this situation. There's idiots out there with a voice saying Nuno should be sacked now, get rid now, literally as if we've been on a 10-game losing run. That aside, my other takeaway is 0 impact from the substitutes, because all I keep reading is he hasn't used his subs and he needs to do it earlier and this, that and the other. But the subs did even less than the people who started, apart from concede more goals. 0 impact from the subs was my big takeaway, which is worrying when you look at the talent that was on the bench. A lot of people criticising Nuno's ability to use the subs. Well, he used some subs and they did nothing.
That's a nice segue into my first point, Mollo. I'll come to you in a moment, Chelsea. I know I normally go round before we get to me, but it's a similar point that I've got, in that if you are a team that is struggling tactically, you're coming up against a team that you can't break down, your tactics aren't working, the players aren't doing the job for you, then one of the options you have is to utilise the talent off the bench. And I know you touched on it there in terms of the subs not being effective. And I do wonder whether that's because of the fact that they didn't play long enough to make an impact. Certainly, McAtee got a reasonable amount of playing time, but I'm not sure the others did. But also a combination of that and the fact that they're not embedded properly yet. And I think in hindsight, I do wonder whether he should have looked at making substitutions a lot earlier than he did in order to try something different. It may not have worked. It may have paid off. It may not. But the one thing you do know is that what you're seeing on the field is clearly not working. So therefore, you must do stuff to try and change it. So that was my takeaway in terms of the use of the subs bench as well, and whether it's Nuno being stubborn in wanting to stick with his first choice 11, or for the aforementioned reasons about not being embedded properly yet and still getting to know the squad and the team. I don't know, but and we will never know for sure. But that was my first takeaway. And whilst I'm on, the other takeaway I've got is what has happened to the defence. Are they actually as good as we think? Did the playing style that we had last year play a part in all of those clean sheets where they effectively soaked up a load of pressure and countered? Did that help make the defence look a lot better than they were, because now they're playing a new style? Has that change of style where they are focused more on possession exposed the defence a little bit more, and therefore is that the reason why they've yet to keep a clean sheet this season? Rhetorical question there. Up to you guys if one of you would like to answer that. But in the meantime, they were my 2 takeaways. Chelsea, what have you got as yours?
If I'm honest, it's just a combination of every single thing that all of you have just said. I put on there that just something just didn't seem to appear right in that game. And it is a takeaway because I mean, I looked on Instagram and I saw Elliot Anderson's post, and it said, I think it was something along the lines of like, "We were not good enough. We will be back." It's a unanimous thing from players to Nuno to fans. Watching them from like the Brentford game, for example, it just seemed like a completely different team, and we were all sitting there going, wow, look at this team that we've got, look how much we've improved on, and we just seemed like this huge threat. And then going to watching them against West Ham, it just was like, what's going on? I had no idea. I don't know whether it's the rumours of everything what happened with Nuno, whether there was a bit of unrest in the team. We've got no idea. We're not behind closed doors. But something needs to change. And like I was echoing what you said, Simon, about is our defence as good as what we said? From complacency to what Kate said, it just through the whole squad, from Gibbs White not having a great performance. And I think as well, last season we built our squad round Gibbs White. That's how I felt. Whereas now you've got players coming in who are equally on the same level as Gibbs White. So sometimes I feel like he doesn't know where he fits in maybe within the team and his performance. But yeah, that's my takeaway for the game.
Yeah, I do want to comment briefly on Gibbs White and Sangare in the midfield. Neither of them played particularly well. Gibbs White, we know the ability. I don't think his place is necessarily at risk. However, I'm not sure I can say the same for Sangare. He's been reasonably competent up to date, but I think he got exposed quite badly in terms of his responsibilities against West Ham. And I do wonder if that's now going to be the catalyst for change in that midfield. I wonder if it starts with him. Kate, what do you think?
Is it 2 penalties in 3 games he's given away? It's not a good stat, is it? He is this player that we all want to be something, want to see his value, and I think he has been better overall. We've said that before on here this season so far. He has been better. He was not better against West Ham. He was really disappointing. He was guilty of hiding. He was guilty of making some pretty awful mistakes. He is a worry for me. When you talk about substitutions, he is one that potentially should have been subbed off early and try something different. I didn't like him yesterday. I didn't like his contribution. Okay. Again, it's a bad game. I'm not saying that, yes, I'm in full support of him going and we don't play him again. It's really difficult with a game like that when so many were off it to single someone out. It's a concern.
Yeah. Okay. On to Molo's moment. Molo, we do this each and every week. We have to do it for every single game. Obviously, it's easier to select Molo's moment on the back of a win, but you have to select one on the back of defeats as well. So what are you going for this week?
Okay, I can tell you it was hard because I watched it back. There's some great skillful moments, certainly from certain players, but I'm going to echo a bit of what Kate said. I don't like to single players out because watching the game back, what was clear, it wasn't 1 or 2 players. There was mistakes, little mistakes all over the pitch from about the 4th or 5th minute onwards. And that gave West Ham some credit because we said they would go there looking for a clean sheet. The moment, though, there's some things, I think Kate knows where I'm going with this because she saw another side to me. I lost it a little bit in the first half. There are some things that are prerequisites. Players trying their hardest being one of them. Well, we can't knock their effort. Might not have been good, we can't knock the effort. But unless you're a pretty little fancy forward player or even a Gibbs White could do it, not that he does. The prerequisite is if there's a tackle to be won, you don't bottle out. If you think you're going to not win the ball and you've been booked, I get that. But there was a moment, I didn't look at the minute actually, but I think it was about 20 minutes in, there was a 50-50 in midfield. And to all intents and purposes, our big strong number 6 absolutely bottled it. He went in with half a tackle and I was absolutely raging. Kate probably remembers. I was like, I may have used slightly fruitier language. I said something along the lines of, I can't believe he bottled out of that tackle. That's just not on. Look, Nuno's a proper coach and manager. I'm not, because he would have been right off the pitch there and then. You can't have a guy, and he did loads of good things as well. Watching it back, he did so many good things, and defensively he was good. He had about a 15-minute period where he went hiding and started marking players when we had the ball. I feel awful picking out one player, but if you bottle out of a tackle, you shouldn't be on the pitch as a defender or a number 6. And I'm now of the opinion that this number 6 role, this mythical number 6 role that was invented by Kante and Makelele, we would be better off with 2 quality centre mids who get up and down the pitch, like Anderson. Maybe Luiz will be that man, I hope, because it's not working. We can't find the appropriate number 6. We bought Danilo to do the job, and he proved, for whatever reason, not necessarily his fault, he couldn't quite get up to that level in that position. But my moment is a negative one. Bottling out of a 50-50 tackle in midfield, that sends a message to West Ham as much as anything else. And they dominated us physically for the rest of that game, especially once we brought all on our little lightweight subs.
Yep,
Do you know who we need? Do you know who we need back, Molo? Dominguez.
Yeah, 100%. But he's not going to be fit till October, is he? And then he's got to get match fit. And we know how patient Forest fans are with players who have been out for a long time and come back not match fit, because we saw that with Danilo last season. And I'm going to add, so I only did the one takeaway. My other takeaway was little mistakes all over the pitch and entitled fans walking out of the ground 10 minutes before the end or 6 minutes before the whistle.
Yeah, I would never leave before the end of a game. Never, regardless of the result of the performance. Never do that. Okay, so Kate, this is the point where you're going to explain and describe to us what Molo was like at that precise moment.
Be truthful.
So, A Block has a little bit of a reputation, doesn't it? I'm wondering how much of that reputation is entirely down to Molo. You know what? No, I had a lovely time. I had a lovely time sitting with the Mollison family, and despite the game, it was certainly entertaining. So let's leave it there.
I do want, so Marinakis has this big TV in front of him where he sits in the director's box. I do wonder whether another TV was sent to the scrap heap, and that would be TV number 6 that has been sent to the scrap heap since he's had them installed. That is an absolute true story. He has destroyed 5 televisions so far since they've been installed. The most latest being, I believe, against Aston Villa last season, when there was a VAR decision that went against us and he kicked in the TV. So that is an absolute true story. So, okay, right, just before we draw West...
Luckily, there's no TVs in front of
you. Before we draw West Ham to a close, then, we have to do our man of the matches. I appreciate it will be difficult, but we're going to do it anyway. So, Chelsea, who is your man of the match in inverted commas?
Anderson. I feel like when watching it on TV, he was absolutely everywhere. You could tell how knackered he was. He was out of position quite a few times, filling in gaps, and I just think, thank God that we had him on that pitch, because I don't know what would have even happened if he wasn't. So, Anderson for me.
Okay, Kate, who's yours?
Okay, this is probably a little bit controversial, or at least it has been so far whenever I've mentioned it. But for me, our only bits of creativity involved Callum. And I know they came to nothing, but anything that we did that I noticed as being positive, he was involved in some way. And if you can be noticed for that in a game such as Sunday's, then I think that is a positive.
Yeah. Okay. Molo, who are you going for?
I think I must be rubbing off on having watched it from A Block, because I've watched it again as well. Callum Hudson-Odoi was the only person who played anywhere near his ability throughout the game. And as per usual, he didn't give the ball away, put in a few dangerous crosses. He linked up well, people. Gave 100% like he always does. Didn't bottle any challenges. So for me, Callum.
Okay, good one. I'm going to go for Matt Sells. I think he pulled off 2 tremendous saves when Forest was still in the game at 0-0, and you couldn't really fault him for any of the goals, I don't think. So you don't, in the whole scheme of things, despite letting in 3, I don't think he did a huge amount wrong, and it could have been a whole lot worse had he not pulled off those 2 great saves. So Matt Sells gets mine, man of the match. I don't feel as though there's any candidate. Obviously, maybe Callum Hudson-Odoi, as you say, but I don't think there's anybody else that warrants a nomination from that forward front 5 or 6 players. So Matt Sells for me. Right, that brings us to half-time of the show, and we are going to continue now with our weekly Tricky Talks trivia. So over to you, Kate.
Okay. I have worked very hard on this one this week. I've struggled a little bit with it, but here we go. So what do these 7 players all have in common? We've got Rob Earnshaw, Steve Finnan, Jimmy Willis, Gary Hooper, Jack Taylor, Sammy Samodics, and Ryan Yates.
Okay, answers on a postcard, please. We'll ponder on that one. Continue with the rest of the show for now, and Kate, you'll give the answers right at the end. So maybe just read those names out again for me, please.
So Rob Earnshaw, Steve Finnan, Jimmy Willis, Gary Hooper, Jack Taylor, Sammy Samodics, I don't know if I'm saying that right, and Ryan Yates.
Isn't Sammy Samodics playing for Ipswich?
I've got it.
Okay. Right, hold that thought,
I haven't.
No, I haven't either.
Don't overthink it, Chelsea.
Oh.
Right, we'll come to you back at the end of the show, and we'll see if Mollo is right, Kate. In the meantime, Chelsea, you're going to give us an FPL update, which I am kind of looking forward to this week.
Right, so FPL update for this week. So we're going to start with the bottom of the table. So third from bottom is Dean Baxter, who got 31 points this week. Second from bottom is Harry Pearce, who actually surprisingly got 63 points this week. And then at the bottom is Gemma Baxter, who got 27 points this week. Now let's go to the other end of the table. So in third place, we have John. I feel like I'm pronouncing that wrong. Again, I feel like I do every week. They got 52 points this week. And then in second, who is my brother-in-law, he had his free hit that he played this week. He got 57 points, Ashley Harris. And then still at the top is Daniel Eagle, who got 54 points. But can I just say, he played his bench boost, which only got him 7 points. So not a great bit of tactical skills there, but never mind, we'll let him off because he's still at the top. So let's have a look at what we are all doing. So Mollo, I'm going to start with you. You are in 20th place and you got 57 points this week. And I did see that you used your triple captain this week, Mollo.
Who won though, Chelsea? Who was it on?
It was on Haaland, 27 points he got. I did notice that. So, and Kate, I'm really disappointed because you dropped from 6th to 9th. Oh no. With 49 points that you got this week. I wish I was in 9th. And then Simon, you went up to 31st place with 61 points this week. You done very well. And then me, I went up to 23rd place. Can't believe it, with the best week that I've had so far with 58 points. So I am just going to say, people, this week, the FPL wizard, that is Simon Myers, who is with us, he has said that now is a decent time to play your wild card if you haven't already. I am debating whether to do mine this week. Have any of you played yours yet?
I'm likely to play mine this week.
Right. Okay.
So does that mean that technically I'm winning like our mini league?
Yeah, it does. Yes.
Oh, see, now here comes all the gloating. Yes.
Chelsea.
Oh dear. So yeah, and then I was just having a little look at the top scorers for this week. So there weren't really that hugely top scorers this week. Everyone had a bit of a rubbish week. So you had Gahey, which was the top scorer with 15 points. Then you had Sensei with 14 points, and then Chalabar with 13 points, and I can never pronounce his name, Soberslai with 13 points as well. So yeah, that is the FPL update for this week, guys.
Excellent, Kate. Chelsea, thanks for that. And I scored 61 points on the back of my free hit chip, which I believe George also had running this week.
Yeah.
So.
Can I ask, Simon, is this your free hit to just test the waters for your wild card?
Yeah, kind of. I had so many doubts over a lot of my players that there's no way I could have fielded a full strength team based on availabilities and injuries. So it made sense to do my free hit for 1 week, and then I can assess now my wild card once the transfer window has closed. You'll get a sense of who is likely to play for their new teams. For example, obviously Isak is now going to be playing for Liverpool, so is he, assuming that goes through all right, is he going to be featured in a lot of Premier League FPL teams now? He's going to start playing week in, week out. So it does give you that stability in knowing which players are going to be playing for which teams and with no more movement. So, I shall likely play my wild card chip this week. Okay,
told you he's a wizard, people.
Thanks for that, Chelsea. So on to the second half of the show where we are going to focus on the Europa League. It was a momentous occasion seeing Forest part of the Europa League draw earlier in the week. And just to recap who we have got, we were drawn against Real Betis away. The fixture scheduled for the 24th of September. Midtjylland of Denmark, home on the 2nd of October. Porto, home 23rd of October. Sturm Graz away on the 6th of November. First time we're playing them in Europe in 41 years. Malmo, of course, we've talked about on previous shows, home on the 27th of November. Utrecht from Holland away on the 11th of December. Braga away on the 22nd of Jan 2026. And we finish up with a home tie against Ferencváros, I believe, and I'm sorry if I've butchered their team name, but they are at home on the 29th of January. So we're going to just have a general discussion about our Europa League campaign. So feel free, guys, to lead a conversation around any aspect of the Europa League as you wish. But they're the fixtures, and I'll hand it over to you to kick off a conversation.
I think this is a massive learning curve for me. So couldn't tell you an awful lot about a lot of those teams. In fact, I had to Google them, some of them, just to work out which country they played in.
Me too, Kate.
Yeah, good. But what a great learning curve to be on. Yeah, let's learn about these teams, these countries. Let's go to some of them. I do have some flights booked to take us to Spain, which is going to be absolutely incredible. I think we spoke about it last week, this roller coaster that we are on as Nottingham Forest fans, and the draw was really, really high and everybody was really, really excited, and then we played West Ham. But we're going up again now. We're reflecting, we're moving on, and we're looking forward to this incredible season that's ahead of us.
I mean, it's not just the actual trips, it's the visiting new stadiums, isn't it? And seeing what they're like. I mean, I've paid attention to the one in Braga that's built in the middle of a quarry where you've got cliffs at one side behind the goal. And it's just literally the stadium is two sides, isn't it? And those sides are held through metal rods to keep them up. I mean, it's an incredible stadium. I didn't realise that was part of... They featured that in the Euros as well, didn't they? I believe back in the day when Portugal hosted the Euros, but I don't remember that stadium at all. And it's things like that kind of you want to experience new cities as well as the new stadiums.
That one's on my birthday as well, so yeah, definitely want to go if I can. It's got to be lucky, right?
Just don't chuck yourself off the cliff if they lose. But I mean, do we think Forest have got a chance of getting through the group? Just to confirm, if you finish in positions 1 to 8, you qualify automatically. If you finish 9th to 24th, you go into a sort of preliminary knockout phase. And if you finish below than 24th, you're eliminated. Do you think we've got a chance, anyone?
Absolutely. I think the draw's the right way round. I didn't fancy another trip to Malmo or Lyon. Thankfully, didn't draw them anyway. I think the home draws, we've got Porto at home is a crucial one. Obviously, Real Betis will be a tough game. I've booked flights and Eurostar and everything to all bar one at the minute. And the one I haven't booked yet is that Sturm Graz, because you say about the roller coaster, and one of the things that's now been coming out quite quickly as we get more knowledge of things is the lack of tickets for away fans generally. So it's all of that kind of adds to the stress of it as well as excitement. But I think we've got every chance of getting through if we play how we can rather than how we did on Sunday. Away from home, we should be strong. It's at home, we've got to pick up some points against one or two quite good teams. But yeah, there's no reason why we shouldn't get through.
I look at the fixtures and think we've got a couple of warm weather games in Seville and Portugal, which is great, and the potential cold weather game in Denmark is at home. So it doesn't look as though we've got any, and Malmo is at home as well. So the two Scandinavian teams where potentially the weather would be cold, we've got at home. So I think that's an advantage. So I don't think the weather will be a factor in terms of favouring or being against Forest. But I think they've got a pretty decent chance as well. I think we've got obviously the hardest fixture first. So it's not like we're going to have to play Real Betis to qualify. I don't think, obviously, with them being first. Porto is early on as well. So, and again, they're playing those teams whilst they're relatively fresh. It's this side of Christmas, so there isn't the stress and the wear and tear on the players' legs whilst they're playing arguably the two hardest games.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contrast. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan. $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm just really looking forward to it. This is the first time that I'll see Forest in Europe, and I can't wait. I am worried. I mean, when I looked at the draw difficulty wise, I thought, oh, this is okay. This is okay. And then I saw our performance against West Ham and I thought, oh, is it okay? I don't know now. But yeah, I mean, I'm a bit like Kate. This is all new to me. This is going to be such a great learning curve for me. It does worry me about the impact that it will have on the league, but I do think that this will be a very big indicator of how far we have come. And yeah, I still, with us playing Malmo, I mean, I remember my dad telling me about the Malmo game when I was little. So it will be a very nostalgic and very interesting game. But yeah, I mean, it's a great problem to have, isn't it? Being in Europe, it's great. So yeah, can't wait for it.
That Malmo game, the European Cup final, was the very first Forest game I ever watched on TV. And I went round my neighbour's house. Well, I don't remember watching Forest live on TV prior to that because I was too young, but do remember that particular game going round. I don't know if you remember. The neighbour's name was Emma Gascoigne Mollo. I don't know whether you remember her. She lived 2 doors down from me. I think she was a year above me, maybe 2 years above you, but it was around her and her dad's house, a couple of doors down.
There we go.
But yeah, that's useless bit of information for you. I'm sure you guys wanted to know all about that. But yeah, really looking forward to the European campaign. I think it's got the potential to be a special one if they can Not sure what team, whether they'll have a cup team and a league team. It remains to be seen. But it'll be interesting to see what sort of priority they give to the Europa League. Would you give it any sort of priority over the league?
I would. I think you've got to do Brian. You've got to follow the Brian Clough model. Play what you think the strongest team is for that game at that point in time. Now, because of the size of our squad, there should be some rotation. And if people's performance levels are dropping because they're tired, then you bring somebody else in. Next man up, as a very wise man used to say as well. But you've got to play your strongest team available on that day.
Right. Any final thoughts on the Europa League before we move on?
It's going to be great.
We're going to win it.
Can.
Yeah, let's hope so. Right, into added time now. We're moving towards the end of the show. We've got a few things we like to cover. We're going to start off with the Nottingham Forest Podcast Prediction League, which we are a part of, in collaboration with all of the other Forest podcasts that are out there, all of which are great in their own right, of course. So I'd encourage you to give them a listen, of course. We missed week 1, unfortunately, but we are back with we entered in week 2. Where Mollo got us off the board with a single point. He was the only one to predict a draw at Palace. So we are still rooted to the bottom of the league. And I believe we will continue to be rooted to the bottom of the league because we all predicted a Forest win against West Ham. So it's a long season. The good news is we do get the opportunity to review our predictions each and every week. So what did you guys do for Arsenal as our next league fixture? Chelsea, did you predict the Forest win? Can you remember?
No, I didn't. No, I'm really sorry, but I didn't. I could not bring myself to do it. No, but maybe that'll get us some more points on that leaderboard.
Yeah, so we do get the chance to change our predictions, don't we? So that is the good thing about this. We can go with the flow if we feel as though there's a change. Kate, Arsenal away. We obviously will do a preview of Arsenal in more detail next week. But what do you think is going to happen in that game? Win, lose, or draw?
I think I predicted for that league that we were going to lose. I mean, a draw's not completely unrealistic, and you know what? Maybe it will be the roller coaster thing. So maybe we'll go from West Ham to winning away at Arsenal. Why not? Why not?
Why not?
Well, I hope so.
I'm rooted to the bottom of the league because of our unending positivity. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean we've beaten Liverpool away, we've beaten Man United away, we've beaten Spurs away in recent times. Why can't we now add Arsenal to that list as well? So they will possibly find themselves in a similar position to ourselves against West Ham, in that they might think it's a foregone conclusion, having lost to the bottom team. But they are a wounded animal themselves, having lost their unbeaten run at Liverpool. So they're going to be pretty dangerous. I did put them to beat Forest as well. What about you, Mollo?
If they were watching a West Ham game, they're probably going to be feeling very, very confident because for obvious reasons. I'd put us down not to win.
Oh, I like that, Mollo.
A hopeful draw.
So I've got a mate who I do the Miami Dolphins podcast with, and we have a similar thing where we do predictions for their game every week, and he predicts them to win every week, regardless of who the opposition is and where they're playing. So I think you're sharing his optimism, Mollo.
Definitely, because based on what I saw yesterday, I don't think I could see us winning another game all season if we carried on like that. But that's the future of football, isn't it? The ups and downs.
Absolutely.
And Nuno will put it right as long as all these idiots get off his back.
Yeah,
exactly.
That roller coaster. Right, okay, on to the trickier trivia answer. Do you want to give us the list of names once again, Kate, just to give myself and Chelsea an opportunity to crack it before Mollo gives us the answer?
Okay. What do these 7 players all have in common? Rob Earnshaw, Steve Finnan, Jimmy Willis, Gary Hopper, Jack Taylor, Sammy Samodics, and Ryan Yates. Go on then, Simon, you go first.
Tricky by name, tricky by nature, I think. I'm It's not playing for Wales or anything like that. It's something about they've all done something on their debuts or something like that.
Ooh.
Okay.
Not sure. Chelsea, do you know? Any guess?
Well, after my overly confident answer last time I was on, which happened to be the complete wrong one, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea, Kate.
Okay. Go on then, Mollo. Impressed.
I reckon they've all played in every division and they've all scored in all 4 divisions. I could be completely wrong, though. And possibly the FA Cup as well.
You are.
But no, definitely.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. So they've all scored in all top 5 divisions of English football.
Wow. Yeah. Well done, Mollo.
Well done, Mollo. And Mollo's head is now not going to fit in the screen.
I know.
Right, excellent question, Kate.
I'm sorry. I made the link between Rob Earnshaw and obviously Yatesy, and then I just kind of thought back from there. And Rob Earnshaw scored a hat-trick in every division and international football.
See, you're showing off now.
Yeah.
See?
Sorry.
Right, excellent. Thanks.
Like that guy on the chaser, whatever it's called, who extends the answer.
All right, thanks for that, Kate. We'll look forward to another one next week. And whilst you're on, Kate, you wanted to chat about Forest women this week?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to be going to the opening game against Newcastle. I think they too have signed quite a few players. So they've got 10 new players in, 2 on loan, the other 8 permanent signings. And having a little look down the league, so the type of opponents that they're looking at this season are Newcastle, Ipswich, Palace, Southampton, Sunderland, Birmingham, Sheffield United. So it feels quite championship, doesn't it? You know, it feels like they have come up a level and we're clearly investing. So again, Marinakis is taking women's football seriously. We're playing our games at the City Ground. We're signing players. I am really looking forward to seeing a decent game of football. And given that it is international break, let's all get down there and support. It's not that expensive. You do get the City Ground experience. So I am looking forward to something a little bit different, but also something very Nottingham Forest. So, yeah, I'll let you know how I get on and what I think.
Yeah, excellent. We'll look forward to hearing all about that next time. So, yeah, go and support Forest women down at the City Ground. Mollo, you're going to bring the show to a close. I believe you've got a special evening lined up tomorrow.
Yeah, my lovely daughter got me for one of my birthday presents an evening with Garry Birtles tomorrow night, which I look forward to. Ironically, he lived next door to me briefly when I was younger in West Hallam, but I'm looking forward to hearing what he's got to say. Always an interesting character, and it's always good to hear any player that was at Forest under Clough, obviously.
Love
Excellent.
that.
Right, that pretty much brings the show to a close. Any final thoughts from anybody? No, we shall.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll be back next week, of course, with a look forward to the Arsenal game. Plus, we'll cover off any other transfer activity that we've not talked about today. In the meantime, you can check us out over on Instagram and X, so follow us on there. As always, please give us a rating and a review on your podcast catcher of choice. So that's it from us for another week. We shall be back next week. And until then, speak to you soon.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.